Election Day 2014 produced a sweeping win for Republican candidates, with the GOP claiming control of the U.S. Senate. Results early Wednesday have the party gaining 7 seats in Arkansas, Colorado, Iowa, Montana, North Carolina, South Dakota, and West Virginia.
The face of America has changed. Republicans have what they wanted: control. Democrats will need to put their bus in severe backup mode and decide what comes next as we begin to barrel down on 2016 and the presidential elections. One who has been there in the wars since the very beginning is a former presidential candidate who knows how the machines work and where we have to go in order to make substantive change in this country for those of every political persuasion. It is a pleasure to welcome Donald Trump into MidPoint. Mr. Trump, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. By the way, I was never a candidate. I was thinking about it, but I was never a candidate.
I just went ahead and said candidate. You're right. I have to correct myself there. But I'm sure you did. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if I said that you would be a candidate. So.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You'll be watching.
Okay. So, well, wait a minute now. I just have to get it because, of course, the journalist in me has to ask. Then, is there the possibility for 2016?
Well, I'm looking. I mean, I am going to look, and I'm going to study, and I'm going to see who's running, and I'm going to see what's going to happen on the other side. The country is doing horribly. We're being scoffed at from all over, from every angle, and you look at what's going on militarily and every other way. So I'm going to take a very serious look, and then I'll see what happens.
What was it like for you in watching the midterm results roll in, and also when you now consider what the president is thinking about on his side? He claims that the electoral map was stacked against him. Some say it was an aberration. Some say the black vote did not show up. I mean, it's excuses after excuses here. So for those who really want some change in this country and were hoping that the right would get back control, this had to be a very, very pleasurable night.
Well, it was a tremendous event. It was an amazing event for the Republicans. And I did robocalls for so many, like Perdue, who ended up doing so well and really surprised a lot of people. He's a terrific guy, and so many others. And they all ended up with the big victories. So I'm really happy about it. For the country, I'm happy. And you know, in all fairness, now the Republicans have to really get going and get to work and turn the country around. It's so important.
What is that then from your perspective then? That's the next point. The Republicans have the power. They have the authority. So what is it that they must do right now to make sure that when 2016 comes around, they don't lose a lot of this momentum, those other votes do come out of the woodwork, and we see another change?
Well, it's going to be about the economy, it's going to be about jobs, and it's going to be about Obamacare. You're going to have to do something with Obamacare, ideally repeal and replace with something that really works and that's good and that's affordable by people and actually gives you better insurance as opposed to what you have right now, which is terrible. It's expensive, and the deductible is so high that most of the time it doesn't even pertain to people. So the Obamacare, in my opinion, has to be repealed and replaced.
Have the Republicans learned not to shoot themselves in the foot this time around and make smart choices, at least when they're appearing in front of the media?
Well, I think so, and I certainly think they have a lot of good candidates. You know, there was a time when the candidates weren't quite as good, and now the candidates were very good, and some of them have run amazing races. So I think the Republicans know just what they're doing, and they have a great opportunity right now, and they'll have to negotiate with the president, who's sitting there now all by himself. And I think he's under a lot of pressure to make deals.
You talk about robocalls here. Interesting, between State Senator Lee Zeldin for his congressional seat. It seems as if former President Bill Clinton had a couple of robocalls in there, and perhaps yours did better.
Well, they did better. They did much better than Bill Clinton's robocalls. That's true. And I've helped a lot of people with the robos. And Zeldin was one of them. He's now going to be your congressman. He's going to do a fantastic job. But when I did the robo, he was down 5.5 points or 6 points. And after the robo, he was up and he won the election. So we're really happy about that. He's a young, very talented guy, going to do a good job. But there were others, too. So I'm very happy about that. Look, I like to help good people, and I like to have people and help people that have the country and the best interests of the country in mind. And that's what these people do. So
about 30, 40 seconds I have left. Who does Donald Trump help now? As the Republicans have power, they move forward. Where's your help going?
Well, I help all of them. I help everybody. I help people that want to make this country great again. We have a country that's really falling into disrepair, and it's in serious trouble. And I want to see this country be great again.
And with regard to the power that Donald Trump has, it's kind of fun being Donald Trump, isn't it?
Well, I'm having a good time, but I want to see the country shape up, and we have such tremendous potential. We're missing one ingredient, and that's proper leadership.
And I tend to think that perhaps when 2016 comes around, we may talk with you again. My apologies again for the early candidacy, but we'll see what happens here in the coming months, Mr. Trump. Thanks for joining us.
A great honor. Thank you very much.
Take care. After the break, the midterm fallout from the side that is seeking to figure out what went so terribly wrong. And at 51 minutes after the hour, why surfing a Dead Sea creature is never a good idea. That comes up right here on MidPoint, where we question everything.